Take this in English, courtesy to our foreign participants. So I'm very happy to welcome you to a roundtable debate and discussion on the social enterprise situation in the Baltic Sea region, at least in 7 countries in the Baltic Sea region. So the program for today is that first we will have presentations from each of the 7 countries, and afterwards we'll have a small break, and then we will have a space for debate, and we will focus a little bit on challenges in the social enterprise sector in the Baltic Sea region, and also on small successes and possibilities for sharing this knowledge between our countries. Also, I thought it would be interesting for us to look a little bit into possibilities for transnational cooperation now that we are here. And this could both be sharing knowledge, and it could be actually also what concerns trade. So let's have a small discussion on that too. For the practical, I would say that we have toilets out here, and you're welcome to go whenever you need. I won't be the judge of that. And there should be some water. If you feel you need water, please serve yourself. And we will record the event here. So every time someone is up here talking, they will have a small microphone. And afterwards we will hopefully make it available for people who are not here. So the program or the event today is organized by the Danish Center for the National Center for Social Enterprises in Denmark and Social Entrepreneurs in Denmark, of which I'm the chair, and the chair of the center is Charlotte, who will smile now. Yes. And I just wanted to say that I'm very grateful that you would host this event together with us, and I hope that all of you and all of us will have benefit from the possibility, which is actually a very rare possibility, to have a look into the status for social enterprises outside our own borders, and also to see this concept in a bigger perspective than just our own national context. So welcome, and we will go to the first presentation. No, it's fine.
Could we have a short presentation?
Yeah, my name is Thomas Bisberg, and I work as a business advisor at the municipality of Copenhagen.
Ulla Gaumann, working at the Social Kapitalfond.
I'm Villa. I'm a CBS graduate and interested in social entrepreneurship.
Yes.
I'm Rikke. I'm doing a PhD at Roskilde University.
I'm Christine. I am responsible for the Meetings in Danish Foundation for Entrepreneurship on Higher Education.
I'm Martin, currently unemployed.
I'm Sally Hooking from the Danish Party Alternative, which is a new party in Denmark, and we are going to bring some new social entrepreneurs. And my name is Lily. I'm from the Social Entrepreneurs.
My name is Lille. I'm from Everyone.
Social enterprise. Yeah.
My name is Jesper. I work in the Danish Foundation for Entrepreneurship, which is a national platform supporting entrepreneurship.
My name is Marie-Louise. I'm country manager in Change Denmark, and we support social entrepreneurs working with children with the incubator program. I'm Ia. I'm an independent consultant with my own company, working with social innovation and civil society. And you guys?
My name is Jacob. I'm a student with social studies in social entrepreneurship now.
Yes, I'm filming, but my name is Renat. I'm from Latvia, from Social Innovation Center. We coordinate this project.
I'm Anya. I'm from Poland, and I'm a president of the board of a Polish organization called Civil Initiative Development Center. that is accredited supporting center for social economy and decentralized.
I'm Trine. I'm from two social enterprises, Køb Social and Media Lab. Køb Social is a free workshop for social enterprises. I'm Maria. I'm from Social Entrepreneurs in Denmark, and I work as a social entrepreneurship consultant in a commune called Horsens in the other part of Denmark.
I'm Anne. I'm until the end of this month. I will be a consultant at Copenhagen, which is an interest organization taking care of social entrepreneurs.
I'm Jan, and I'm leading Estonian social enterprise network.
Hi, my name is Iira, and I'm from Finland, one of the partners of this Erasmus project.
I'm Mindaugas from Vilnius, Lithuania, also a project partner and social innovation consultant.
My name is Ulrik, and I'm from the National Center for Social Enterprises in Denmark.
And my name is Gitte. I'm active in the Social Entrepreneurship of Denmark Association, and I also am the founder of an association working with Kids in Care Network. So that's what I do on a volunteer basis.
And my name is Tommy. I'm in the National Center for Social Enterprises in Denmark.
And my name is Per, and I'm from Social Entrepreneurs in Denmark. Yes. So I will give the microphone to Ulrik, who will give us a status on social enterprises in Denmark and the work of the National Center.
Today, and to learn about what's going on in the other countries around the Baltic Sea. I'll be using my 10 minutes to give you a brief introduction to the current Danish governmental effort to promote social enterprises. So of course the status for the subject for today is status for social enterprises in the countries we are looking at. So to give a status about social enterprise in Denmark, especially perhaps as a governmental official, I would be loved to talk about some of these subjects, to tell you about how many social enterprises do we have in Denmark, what's the turnover, how many new are we seeing every year, how are they doing, how are they performing economically, are they performing better than ordinary enterprises, are they creating jobs, what's their social impact, how many jobs are they creating for vulnerable groups, etc. However, as things are today, this is very difficult to say a lot about. We don't have very factual knowledge on these issues. And the main reason for this, of course, is that until very recently, we haven't been able to identify and separate social enterprises from other actors, being other types of businesses or being NGOs or civil society organizations. So I'll get back to why we are actually now able to do this and why we might be able to say a lot more about these issues in just a short time from now. So throughout the past year, the Danish government has been carrying through an effort to promote social enterprises, to create more and stronger social enterprises is the name of the effort. As a part of this effort, the National Center for Social Enterprises was created, and we are to some extent a focal point in the effort. We are responsible for quite a few of the initiatives. Just to say a little bit about the background of the effort, in 2012, the previous Danish government set aside quite some money for promoting social enterprises. I think altogether approximately 6 million euros. The money were given in two tranches on two different occasions. The first tranche of money was given specifically to support what we call work integration social enterprises. The second tranche was given as part of the national budget for 2013. And as this was done, the government established a committee on social enterprises with the task of examining barriers to social enterprises in Denmark for the startup and growth of social enterprises, And another assignment was to propose a draft legislation for creating a specific legal form called the social enterprise. The committee worked for 6 months, broadly representing the field, represented with social enterprises, practitioners, experts, the local municipalities, what we call the social partners, the labor market organizations, the employers associations, and relevant ministries. And they produced a report after the 6 months, giving an official definition on social enterprise, describing the current state of the sector and the opportunities they saw and the challenges they saw for the sector. And finally giving 26 recommendations as what could be done to strengthen this area in Denmark. And this report is available in English, and perhaps I think in your work there's probably a link or something to that. So as a follow-up on these, or to follow up on these 26 recommendations, last year the government published or started this effort, and we've been working since with these 10 initiatives. And I'll be telling you, just as I only have 10 minutes, just perhaps about 4 of them, or 4 or 5 of them. Just very briefly on the National Center, we are kind of meant as being like the one public entrance to social enterprises. If you're a social enterprise, you have issues and want to get in contact with the public sector, you can go through us. If you want knowledge on social enterprises, if you're a potential partner, you can find that knowledge through us. So to some extent, we work as a knowledge broker. We collect knowledge and we try to distribute it. And we are very focused on working with. We sometimes call it the meta level to work with potential partners, to work with other ministries, with the municipalities especially, to improve the framework conditions for social enterprises. More than being a center working closely with the social enterprises, you could say. We're doing this, or we're sharing our knowledge a lot through our website and of course through newsletters, and also through being a lot on the road, having meetings and giving presentations. So the reason that we are actually, or we might be able to in the near future to identify social enterprises was that from the 1st of January this year, the government introduced an official registration scheme for social enterprises. The Committee on Social Enterprises ended up recommending that there shouldn't be established a specific legal form as it exists in other countries for social enterprises, but instead it should be possible to register as a social enterprise no matter your legal form, or almost no matter your legal form. So from the 1st of January it has been possible to register if you can meet 5 criteria. To register you should have a social purpose, of course, social meaning a social purpose, an employment purpose, cultural, environmental or health purpose. You should be doing business, you should be selling products, services, earning money through these activities. You should be independent from the public sector. You should be working and doing your governance in an including and responsible way in accordance with the social purpose, and you should be using your profits socially. Although this scheme actually allows for taking out a portion of the profits and use it for giving remuneration to investors. It's possible to use as much as 30% of the annual profit for this, but there are certain limitations. So why has this been done? Of course, kind of the main purpose has been to define and give a separate identity for social enterprises. For social enterprises to be able to say we are a social enterprise. We are to give an official mark, as we know marks from organic produce or the fair trade, etc. And in this way, of course, also allowing for potential customers, collaborators, partners, investors, banks, etc., municipalities, to know that they are actually dealing with a registered social enterprise who are actually working in accordance with a social purpose. A second benefit from having a registration scheme, of course, is that we are now, or we will be able to better monitor the sector and perhaps in the future to give better presentations like this, and of course know how the sector is developing and how it's doing. And should future governments wish to create specific legislation for social enterprises, they are actually now able to do so, at least for registered social enterprises. In a short time from now, we will be introducing a marketing kit. I think we're calling it something like this, which will allow registered social enterprises to use some of these. This logo, the logo you see to the right, I say we are social enterprise. And we are creating a database, so potential customers and partners will be able to find social enterprises in the area or within certain product lines or social purposes. I should remember to mention that as we are now having a national center, we also, as one of the other initiatives, a council for social enterprises was established. The council is working to some extent as an advisory board for the center, but are also meant to be influencing the public debate and the development of the sector in Denmark. How am I doing on time? 1 minute? Okay, just very briefly on some of the other initiatives. I think approximately 1 million euros has been given to supporting the work in the municipalities in Denmark to strengthen social enterprises. 17 municipalities have been receiving funding. 38 municipalities applied, which is a bit more than 1/3 of the Danish total amount of Danish municipalities. So I think that indicates that, of course, they like to receive money, but it indicates some interest in working with social enterprise in municipalities. And another significant initiative, of course, is that we have the social growth program, which have existed, of course, almost since the first tranche of money was given. The social growth program is an business accelerator program for work integration social enterprises. I think the overall money given to this is approximately 2 million euros. And since 2013, the program has been taking 5 to 6 companies through an intensive program every 6 months. You've just altogether, I think 22 companies by now have been through this program and have been doing very well. I will skip the other initiatives, but just to give a brief roundup, you can say that the Danish effort until now, it's a lot of first steps. We can do a lot more and hope to be able to do a lot more to continue the work. However, our current funding ends by the end of this year, so we are excited to find out what will happen. Another very interesting point is, of course, to see to which extent the Danish social enterprises can see themselves as registered social enterprises in accordance with the 5 criteria put up. So how many will register, etc., and use the material we've created. And then from just around now, actually, and for the next 6 years, we are able to use some of the Danish money from the European Union Social Fund to promote social enterprises, which in Denmark is completely new. That hasn't been possible before, to my knowledge, at least. Thank you.
My name is Iiro Niemi and I come from Finland. I work for a small consultancy called Growth Room Cooperative. In Finnish it's called Kasvuhuone. The logo is there. Actually, I would say last time I was in Copenhagen in 2012. I was here because I then came to work for SOCAP conference in Malmö. I don't know if you have heard of the organization Social Capital Markets. I worked part-time for that cooperative, and it's a group of 10 much more experienced people than me. They have worked earlier at some EU-funded programs on social enterprise, and they are at some committees who make some kind of high-level decisions in Finland. For example, at the social enterprise mark and so on. At this presentation, I thought to selected a group of what I consider the most important stakeholders in this field, and I consider social entrepreneurs, social enterprise in Finland a bit broadly. So in Finland, I think the language is evolving, and people sometimes use different terms for the same phenomena. Like some people, for example, prefer impact to social and so on. I think it's the same situation in some other countries in the world as well. One considerable institution is Sitra, the Finnish Innovation Fund, which started impact investing as its focus area a bit over 1 year ago. They have organized quite many gatherings, and they are bringing all the actors together to sort of enhance the ecosystem development. I think one of their most visible project or tangible is to test the social impact bond model, and it's starting this autumn. They are working with municipalities, and the aim is to reduce the amount of sick days of public workers, and they are now gathering private investors, and then depending on the results they will pay the return. So that model is generally aiming to improve well-being. Sitra has also other initiatives in the areas of clean tech, for example, circular economy, and so on, which I think could be also considered part of the sort of social enterprise or social entrepreneurship ecosystem. This is also Slush. Maybe you have also heard about Slush. It's now maybe the biggest tech conference in the whole Europe. In just a few years, it has grown from small gathering of 100 people to 15,000 people. And this year, they also organize a separate track for impact-minded people, entrepreneurs and investors. It's the second time they do it. And what should I mention? One of the keynote speakers at that track is this autumn, for example, Jacqueline Novogratz, is the CEO and founder of Acumen Fund. They also, I think that's very beneficial to have the impact team integrated in this kind of very big conference, because then these different people from more traditional sectors like VCs and so on meet other impact investors, and I think that it's very beneficial for the development of also impact sector. This has also emerged recently from Aalto University. There are quite visible entrepreneurship societies, student-run entrepreneurship societies in Helsinki from Aalto, and this is trying to be something similar for social change makers. And they also have organized many events, but also impact business competitions where it's I think good to have some kind of competitions or somehow select the best initiatives or ideas that some investors could invest in. And one which I look forward to is a separate impact space launching this autumn. There hasn't previously been any public place where the people with this mindset could go and meet anytime. Then I will come to some to the explicitly social entrepreneurship institutions. This new interest group for social entrepreneurship launched also a year ago. Here are some logos of the founding members. For example, Research Network, also some big social enterprises in Finland. For example, the Diakones Institute, and so there's also one company which is a recycling company, and also the amusement park in Helsinki, which is owned by a foundation, and the profits go to children's welfare. Here are some of the activities they do. They have also organized some. There are some publications. They do blog posts, but we'll see what will be the position of the organization. I don't really know what's happening behind the scene, but we'll see. This is maybe the earliest of these institutions. Here, Social Enterprise Mark. We had ministry committee, a working group before the launch of this, and the result of that working group that there should be no separate status for social enterprises, but this was then after that this was created to sort of raise the visibility and somehow spread the criteria and also somehow select the companies which could be considered social enterprises. Okay, I don't have much time, so I have to hurry a bit. Here's also this research network emerged from also one big EU-funded project. They do research. They're quite active Facebook account, so you can follow. They award some best student works or research on social enterprises and so on. And this is my last slide. Earlier this year, I attended this very interesting investment event, and I was very happy to see impact investing as a separate theme of this very high level event, where all those on the right side you see all those big money institutions were present, and there were quite interesting presentations from Sweden, some pension funds, investment companies, and so on. So, yeah, let's see. I'm pretty confident that these values-based initiatives and businesses will grow, and also these investors pay attention to from the risk side and to increase trust. So they take into account these ESG perspectives. But yeah, for example, Camilla from the Social Innovation Sweden mentioned that maybe in the Nordics we should, for example, focus on creating some kind of common language for this field, because it's sometimes quite confusing and maybe even contradictory, the discussion. Yeah, thank you. You can send me email, connect through Facebook or Twitter, and so on. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Eero. And next online is Jan Abs from Estonian Social Enterprise Network. I just wanted to say that we will email you the updated participant list afterwards. What's the rule? Who's this
one? Hello everyone once again. I'm pleased to meet the Danish social enterprise community and with our project partners. My presentation concentrates less on how social enterprises are doing in Estonia. So you can ask about their situation later during the questions and answers round. And I will talk about more what we aim for as an organization and what we are practically doing and trying to achieve and achieving. So maybe that would spark more of those possible cooperation ideas. So briefly, our aim as Estonian Social Enterprise Network is to increase the number of social enterprises, that there would be more of them, then to increase their capacity. We would love to concentrate mostly on entrepreneurial capacity, but still these are the managers and leaders who are the entrepreneurs. And so actually more and more of our support goes to supporting this managerial and leadership capacity. And of course, their societal impact, because that's why they do exist. And as you in your countries, we are also struggling a bit what are the best indicators under each of these. But still, even those three objectives help us to prioritize what to do and what not to do. For example, organizing just one-off conferences usually don't support any of those objectives, but some long-term activities they do. A bit about our mandate and competence, which also show already a bit of the working areas. So we are a membership-based non-profit association established in 2012 after approximately 1 year of preparation process and stakeholder involvement. And at the moment, we have 41 Estonian social enterprises as our members. We don't have a separate legal form nor any registration or mark yet, but we have certain membership criteria. But of course, there are still quite some social enterprises in Estonia who are according to the criteria, but who are not our members yet, and some more recruitment efforts to do. And social enterprise is now included also on a state level as one of the priorities among other topics into National Development Plan for Civil Society, which means that actually till 2020 there is a certain mandate from the state, and as it's a strategy for civil society development, it also was about involving many stakeholders when working out the strategy. So actually the mandate is quite wide from the civil society stakeholders as well. And concerning international cooperation, I guess also for you it has been from time to time that some initiatives in Brussels, but how actually to get the information and make it practical. So we hope that being a member of this commission will help not only to contribute, but also to get and to help our local stakeholders and regional stakeholders with the knowledge. And we are partnering with quite many organizations to get things done, because next slide soon will be about our advocacy achievements, which I think in 3 years they are quite impressive. But the only reason for those achievements is that actually there have been a very good partners who are supporting the same values and who have contributed a lot. And last week there was a very important moment. So now, while remaining independent, but becoming an official partner for the state, helping to achieve those civil society, social entrepreneurship support objectives. And a small scheme as well. So you can imagine that those dots are social enterprises, some smaller, some bigger, some growing, some unfortunately shrinking. And so one of our practical objectives is to influence the ecosystem around them, like legal affairs and support structures. And on the other hand, to also provide social enterprises directly systematic support. On the one hand, it's a good way how to work, because to balance advocacy, which sometimes can seem like a blah blah, having those the lobby meetings, but then really working with stakeholders and being in touch with what they need. But of course, it's very challenging as well, especially advocacy takes time. And if I'm a member of the network, then okay, they are having those ministry meetings all the time, getting even paid for it, but what's the use? So it's a tricky balance. And I will not have time to describe any process for long, but I will just provide the list, and then later on, if you connect somehow, we can discuss more. So one advocacy victory was to get social entrepreneurship included, as I mentioned, to one national development plan. Then the new public procurement law, according to new public procurement directives in European Union. Currently it's a draft, and it's very friendly to our mission. Then we got into political platforms of competing political parties, so avoiding the risk of getting kind of perceived as a topic or organization related to only one political movement. So Social Democrats and the Liberals included us, as well as, let's say, the National Conservatives. And also some legal issues related to income tax law, which in short, the implementation of the law would have hurt the ability of social enterprises to collect donations as well as a part of their income models. And so we did much to lobby to avoid it. And some systemic to direct support. My colleagues who are really doing the job, they stressed me that yes, you can talk about those programs, but you have to say that we are still very much learning. So it's more like piloting, but some teams, so action learning groups for leadership development. It's a special international methodology like group mentoring a bit. Then product design. Then volunteer recruitment for those who provide social services. And also, I guess, more traditional like business model development, and also public service design. So as we have quite a wide membership criteria in relation what the societal objective can be, and whether the product or service is oriented for a private market or for example, public procurement market. So also, I guess this action learning is kind of for all the needs of social enterprise leaders, but then all the other programs are actually trying to satisfy, let's say, a very specific subgroup of our members. And then also giving a mini investment grant, and also what I'm in charge of and very much inspired about this, to get really a very practical but the standardized impact mapping solutions for grassroots level social enterprises. And just one picture what's going on during development programs. So people are really, they are happy, but they are thinking and planning. And also one example of our impact mapping report, which is at the moment in PDF format, but at the moment we are working with an electronic portal, and it seems that it can become a standard actually for all social purpose organizations in Estonia, not only social enterprises. And so one picture of our team in action, and so we would be very happy to expand, let's say, the team of people who have similar aims internationally. So looking forward to discussion, and thank you.
Thank you to Jan, and I also want to mention that Jan, as part of the EU project that we have together, wrote a small handbook on social impact analysis, which is actually translated to Danish and available on the Social Entrepreneurs in Denmark homepage, if you should be interested in input on how to measure your social value. So next presentation is by Renata Lugjanska from the Social Innovation Center in Latvia.
So hello one more time. I see that my time actually passed just 1 minute ago. So basically, this is, I will try to be really short, so, and would like to dedicate much more time for discussion and not so much maybe to listening. So it will be really general overview of the situation in Latvia. I would describe it in general words like we are having stuff like that, and I'm not sure who is which kind of stakeholder, but definitely that the views on the social entrepreneurship in Latvia are quite different. Well, at the moment we have no legal framework, but the positive side is that from next year we will start the piloting. And based on the piloting results, we will implement legislation. Some of the people or social enterprises may not like it, but in general, this is not a worst approach. We learn and then we implement. So we do not develop legislation the first, but we really test it. Currently, existing social enterprises, of course, are self-claimed because there is no legislation as such. And of course, but if we don't have a legal entity, we don't have also clear statistics about it. Yeah? So it's like a overall situation in Latvia. Well, maybe from the weak sides is that, of course, people are lacking some proper business skills because these are people who are coming mostly from NGO sector, having a large heart, but maybe lacking a proper business skill, business mind, and so on. So it's one of the main challenges, I think, for Latvia, really to bring a business understanding to these people who want to make maybe Latvia and the globe a better place to live. Sometimes there is, of course, misuse of a term, but one person understands it in one way, and public sector and NGO, they have a totally different understanding of what is a social enterprise. Well, maybe still we are not so advanced in the, of course, social impact measurement, just because we are in such situation that there is no legislation. And financial support is still very limited to like Reach for Change is, I think, one of our possibilities for social enterprises to grow up. So, but of course, not everything is so bad. This is also a lot of room for learning and development. And the main, I guess, is that we want to learn from, let's say, our mistakes and not our own. Yeah, so some countries already went much farther away. So maybe we just pick up the best cases from each of the countries, so we can get on track relatively fast. As an organization, basically, we just want to find the best solution and pick up these great examples from Denmark, Poland, Estonia, because I see that there are really a lot of good initiatives. And also, we were discussing with the partners why we are always collecting good examples. Why don't we collect the bad examples? Because on the bad examples, you really learn. I mean, this is also a story, because when maybe for some of the organizations or people, it would be a learning what and how they shouldn't do it. But it's not a common practice to collect, let's say, bad examples of what really didn't work. So just an idea that it might be used for future. In general, as an organization, we try to increase educational level, and specifically business model, where is one of the materials which we created over the project, because I also spoke to 3 social enterprises in Aarhus, and I think the business model is one of the main key elements for, of course, for classical enterprises, but even more important for social enterprises. But we really understand how do we make it sustainably. Also, we try to educate society about social entrepreneurship, that this is normal, that this is good to do so, it's nothing bad, and we make advocacy to the ministry just to really assure that the piloting and legislation will be on the best possible way. So our main needs, as I thought, would be really to collect the best practices from around the regional basis, because from theoretical foundings is that it's very often that regional approach works better. Yes, so we really don't want to pick up maybe examples from US or China or whenever else, but really be more specific, picking up so people can visit, can check, and it's more realistic to implement in a specific regional context. And we would like to make some network support. So this is one of the reasons why we have this project, that we believe that it's very nice to do something nice in your country, but let's have a bit broader overview, because challenges very often are the same. So if, for instance, Poland made a good solution, so we should not reinvent the bicycle. Yes, so this is what we very often, I guess, do, that we really are concentrated on our own countries and maybe not often so open to the knowledge. As an organization, of course, at local level, we can share all of this knowledge which we can get. We have some EU funding competence, so we are ready to partner and sometimes also even coordinate projects. Maybe not very often, but in general. And also, we have some analytical competencies describing what is the situation currently in our country. So it might be useful for some reports or so. So, and in this project, we had 4 main aims, and two of them are already completed. We produced the report, we produced educational material and educational videos, so you can check it somewhere later on probably on Per's site as well in Danish language. And you can ask later on questions about it. So basically, that's it, and we can have a discussion later on.
Thank you, Renata, and then I would welcome Mindaugas Danis from Lithuania.
Hello. It's possible. Oh. I don't know if that's working. Okay. So, hi everyone again. I'm linking social innovation with social entrepreneurship, and that's the areas I'm interested. So I got into this field some time ago by opening the first co-working space in Vilnius, Hub Vilnius. Although it's closed now, but still we had been in operation for at least 3.5 years. Also, I'm into urban gardening, and I know in Copenhagen it's probably a routine, but in the Baltic states it's still a novelty. So we had the first urban community garden opened in an old park near the hospital. And we also have an old greenhouse. I run monthly events for startups and young entrepreneurs, social innovators. We call hub camps. And also I keep a social media tool group on social entrepreneurship in Lithuania, and we try to share information, links, knowledge, and some events. It's called. We also cooperate with one NGO that wants to revitalize a town that went into decline near the Latvian border. It's called Antaliepte, and we are building a community house, youth center, and taking care of public space around this property, also trying to engage local people and young people into different activities. So I put together some information about some of the examples of social innovations that we have in Vilnius. And to me, the primary ones are, crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, sharing economy, and tactical urbanism. And although there are plenty of definitions of social innovation, I think of bringing solutions from one sector to another in order to solve some long-term problems, and especially also using IT as a media. So we have already some car sharing and bike sharing solutions, and not only those official ones run by advertising companies, but also run by NGOs. We have one startup into second-hand clothing that really got big and attracted over 20 million euros investment. It's called Vinted, and now we operate in a number of countries, but it's a online marketplace, and sharing economy is growing everywhere, and it brings many new opportunities for social enterprises. Tactical urbanism, I like it because it's all about reoccupying, reusing public space, and in my country it's still very important to bring people into the streets for various purposes, also organizing social activities or changing the environment and building, I don't know, more benches or, using the public space in general. In order to do that, many NGOs organize different events that become popular and traditional, like the Culture Night, Street Music Day. We have over 100 street musicians, occupying squares, and the whole Vilnius goes out into the streets. Bubble Day is a fun event, already 6 years in the making, very simple. Families and people come together to the largest square in Vilnius and make soap bubbles, and this has spread among the Lithuanian community abroad. Pop-up stuff, using the buildings before the demolition, or converting them for temporary gallery usage or shop usage, or whatever, any other use that you can have. Fluxus Ministry, that was one of the examples of pop-up usage in Kaunas. Also, old shoe factory turned into art exhibition, performance music center for 2 years. That was before the artists moved in the place, really ugly space, and we needed to convert it. And as I mentioned, social innovation, it's not it does not equal the social business, but it just provides inspiration, and it also opens up, people's eyes and makes us think from a different angle. We have an anonymous club of swings. So just a group of architecture students put swings across the city, so that in different places. Some in the park. Also, this example I really liked. Another group of tactical urbanists engaged the local community in one neighborhood of Vilnius, and we had really basically at no cost. We just made an agreement with electricity company to let them use the poles, and people organized workshops for ceramics using old tiles, and this is permanent. The kids will grow in 20 years. They will be able to come back and show their children the creation. So simple and effective. That's the making process. That's one of the community centers in Vilnius, bootstrapped and built by also an architect in an area where there are no culture centers. City exploration, another interesting popular topic. People are organizing free excursions around the city because in many cases people have no context of the area where they live. So city explorations helps to put the context and to uncover some hidden information, hidden objects, and becoming very popular. Bike repurposing, it's another idea. Visiting new buildings and old buildings. Open kitchen, some street food place. I visited Paper Island. Street food in Copenhagen. It's nothing new, but in Vilnius every Friday street food trucks occupy one square, and it's being used also as a space. Mobile street furniture. Also, we had a workshop, and when the furniture was put into our garden as well. We have some online tools like crowdfunding platform, local one. Although, like if you check Just Giving in UK or something like Kickstarter or whatever globally, these are really big things. I'm not sure if in Denmark you have effective crowdfunding platform for your projects, but that's just one of the tools. And once we had interesting and effective social media advertising platform, now it's closed because we couldn't find the business model, the business case, how to make it live, but it was very effective because it was linked with a commercial online advertising platform. What we did, we were just selecting NGO and social business banners, and we had slots of, I don't know, like 5% of showings, and we feeded our banners through their system into the major portals of news portals, for example. So it's something that possible to continue. Coming to social businesses, and I'm trying to wrap it up, but the nicest social business that I can mention in Lithuania, because we don't really have a legal status for social enterprises, and it's still a novelty. It's Mums Fair. What we do, we let anybody print the barcode and bring all the outgrown children clothing and stuff, cradles, to the exhibition center, the largest shopping center. It becomes the largest shopping center for children's stuff for 2 or 3 days. And the social business gets its commission, the owner of the stuff gets its money, and what's not sold is being given away to the needy families as well. For the last 10 years we have social firms, and social firm is like underground social enterprise because it does not qualify for all, let's say, 5 criteria. But it exists in Lithuania already for the last 10 years, and in order to qualify for the social firm, you need to employ the disabled people, and we need to be at least 40% of your staff. And then you get tax breaks, then you get procurement breaks, and you get some subsidies. But no one cares about your mission or revenue share. So we want to change that, and this year, after long work, preparatory work, finally the social enterprise concept was adopted by the Minister of Economy, and primarily the NGO sector is pushing to some clarity in this field in order to foster and promote social enterprises. Well, we miss many things. I also once was a member of social business initiative group in the European Commission when working at the Ministry of Economy a couple of years ago. But now we are thinking of also building a network for social enterprises in Lithuania and initiating certification of social enterprises and promotion of it. What I see as a potential for partnership, definitely we are interested in maybe franchising some of the business models from your countries and bringing them to Lithuania, sending some would-be social entrepreneurs on a study visits or internships to your countries, also doing other joint projects, exchanging knowledge, information, maybe also strengthening the Baltic region platform for social enterprises it's just a funny thing, when I was with this urban garden, one thing that you do, you save seeds and you organize seed exchange in order not to buy something but to save. And all of a sudden I came across a seed exchange website, page on community group on Facebook, and I was like, wow, how come just a lady from a rural town became a sharing economy guru in Lithuania? And she organized this seed exchange group, which became very popular, like 3,000 members over 9 months time. But I can't really stand reading this page. I like seeds, but they keep on posting, cats, coffee cups, and envelopes, to prove that, well, look, I've sent you seeds and I just received seeds. So anyway, it's just a funny way how things can turn, and sometimes, champions of some stuff, are maybe next door. But you don't realize that. And that's the pumpkin from our garden that we harvested. And these are my, I got 50 euros prize on a photo competition for this from the seed company as well. But so I invested the money for the next harvest. But these are my contacts, and they are on the list as well. And I'm really happy to be here, and look forward to have a discussion and debate at the end of the meeting. Okay.
Thank you to Mindaugas, and the next presentation will be from Anya Cebula. And I won't pronounce where you come from. You can maybe pronounce it yourself. But it's Poland. Thank you.
Okay, so hello again. My name is Anya Cebula. I'm representing organization from Poland, but from the south of our country, not so big city. I'm not from the capital, but still quite interested in developing the social economy in Poland. And one more thing, when we will have a break, I hope that you will have a good memories after Poland, because there are some sweets and chocolates brought. So please enjoy. Some energy maybe will be needed. And going back to the social economy, I also try to be faster than it should, to have a space for a discussion, because I believe that exchanging the information and the knowledge is much more reachable just to hear some points that I would like to present. About legal situation in Poland. Now really many things are happening. This is one of the priorities in our development idea, how our economy should work, or in which direction it should go. We have a lot of legal acts. None of them, unfortunately, are synergic. That's the very big problem in Poland, that you have thousands of documents, but, well, one is excluding the other. So we are really facing a big difficulty in having one definition of a social enterprise and how to understand the whole system. But there is a hope. 10th of June, our government started to proceed to have the Act of Social Enterprise and supporting social economy development. But what is also very important that before this legal point, our government approved and it's already starting to implement a national program for social economy development. What is really important that the team which was creating this document was connected or was built by public administration on different levels, so the ministries but also the regional municipalities, plus the experts from NGOs, social cooperatives, plus business people, plus people from universities, people who have knowledge and only make the research. And this group was creating the legal act of social enterprise and supporting social economy development, which will give us very detailed definition of social enterprise. And also, like it is already made in Denmark, we will have the stamp, this is the social enterprise. So there will be an agency which will decide, do you fulfill all the criteria? And yes, you can name yourself as the social enterprise. But what is already interesting that even though this sign doesn't exist or in the legal form doesn't exist, the social economy entities already did it. We have like something like a good brand called like you are the social enterprise, but it's very difficult to receive it, and it's like receiving really an award. It really means something to have the stamp. And what is also very important that the social economy development is one of the priorities in our European funding. Probably you know that our country is one of the luckiest one, I mean with the budget that we are receiving from European Union. It's huge amounts of money. Sometimes it's hard to believe, but even in the previous perspective it was really a lot, but we were spending it very well, so they decided that it's worth to invest more. And the social economy development is part of many documents on regional development plans, on social economy development plans on ministry level, regional level, municipality level, but also it's visible in rural areas development. So there is a special program only for developing these parts, and again social economy is there, and I have to say that for Polish conditions it's quite amazing, but in that case there is a synergy. Really somebody had the idea to link all the documents and what is happening in these fields together. And what I wanted to say about this national program, that very important point was that ministry was building a standard for supporting centers of social economy. It is a very long document, it's quite complicated to receive the accreditation made by ministry that really this consortium or this organization can lead a supporting center for social enterprises, which contains financial support, so you can have a startups with a lot of money for one company. You are receiving business coaching, you are receiving training, you are receiving vocational trainings, you are also receiving some of the money for a promotion, for the PR, for basic running the company for the first 1.5 years. But what is the big difference comparing to the previous programming? That, we are seeing that creating cooperatives by private people with very big social problems doesn't work. So it's much more better if the social cooperative is created by the legal entities. So for example, municipality in cooperation with NGO is creating a social cooperatives and hiring the people with the social exclusion. And this is one of the priorities. And also this 2014-20 program is saying that, okay, trainings, coaching, great, fine. But one of the most important elements of the program that the supporting center have to run is the local animation, means creating a network between municipalities, business, the regular business, plus the NGOs or social entities. Because only if they will discuss what is the need and if the businessman will understand what is behind the social enterprise and the municipality will be aware that investing in that people will bring the benefits with the time, it only makes sense. So there is no big efficiency in giving only the money for the company and leaving it like that. You need to build very strong surrounding or very good background in the municipalities and people who are cooperating with the social economy entities. And now I really have to be short. Social economy entities, well, non-governmental organization, but with the business activities. For now, we have in Poland around 16,000, cooperatives 12,000, social cooperatives around 350, social integration centers around 70. It's usually run by a social care center in the cooperation with NGOs, professional activity center around 60, and mutual insurance company 9. And about my organization. We were established in 2002, and for now we are gathering more than 40 people. So we were association, so we are an NGO. Since some time we already running the business, so we became also the social enterprise. And in my opinion, it's really important. If I want to be a supporting center, it's not only that I know the theory. I really tested on myself that, like it was said before, the people in NGO have a big heart, great mind, creative ideas, but sometimes we are making fun of ourselves that when somebody is coming and asking us how much does it cost your service, we said, no, we will do it for free. And just in the moment, okay, let's discuss about the price, because we also need money to run our activities. So we know how to discuss with the people how to change from this very social point also to include the business element. I think that we are already recognizable in Poland, non-governmental organization, because some of our team is in our president like advocacy group, in our government advocacy group on the regional level. And I have to say that for an association, hiring more than 25 people full-time job plus next 50 on contract is quite a lot, especially that we are not based in the capital. So our city, it's like 120,000 of inhabitants. I believe that we are also strong and sustainable social enterprise. Our annual budget is around 3 million of Polish zloty, so less than 1 million of euro. And what is really important for us that we passed the whole accreditation system, and now we will run the supporting center for next 3 years for sure. And what is also important that we are the leader and 3 municipalities are the partners. So also the roles are a little bit changed that it used to be in Poland, because it was like everything what the municipality or public is doing is good, and the NGO are the crazy ones who are volunteering and so on. And now the roles are changed. Our strategic objective in terms of social enterprise sector development, for sure, implement the 3 years project of running the social enterprise incubator, and also really put big effort in this local animation, but also to have a very high quality services for the social entrepreneurs. And change the sustainability of social economy entities, mostly independence from the public financial support, but I understand it as grants, as call for proposal, because I see a very big potential that the social economy entities can use the public money, but or in the procurement or in any other, like selling the services to public authorities. And build positive image of social enterprise as professional or quite quality companies. For me, that's the one of the biggest challenges or the problems, that usually it's okay, let's buy from these social cooperatives because they are dealing with disabled. This is not the reason. the reason, or it can be, but the reason or the social enterprise also should say, I have a good quality, I have very well done or product or services, and you should buy it not only because I am doing or working with disabled or with excluded people, but also that our services is good quality. So for us, building this positive image and working with the social enterprises to convince them that you really have to be high level because it's open market, plus having the positive image with the consumers. And our need is to create stable partnership between public sector business and non-governmental organization. Plus, I would add now the regular business. As I said, this local animation is one of the priorities. And also in this project, we are responsible for creating the recommendations for municipalities, how they can support and how they can cooperate with the development of social economy, and sharing know-how in the field of building good brand of social economy. And our resources is experience in coaching of social enterprises. As I said, we were running the incubators for social economy since 3 years, for NGOs since 10 years, being a part of the Polish network of social economy supporting centers. Because as I said, the accreditation is around the whole Poland. So each voivodeship has at least few accredited institutions who are leading the supporting centers. So we have this knowledge, we have the access for the documents, we have the access to what is happening. And thank you.
Thank you, Anja. And our next presenter should have come from Sweden, Bert-Ola Bergstrand, but unfortunately there has been a gang shooting actually in Göteborg from where he comes, and gang killing. He was not involved, but it was just outside his house, so I think probably some issues has occurred that he needs to take care of. So he will not be here today, I'm sorry to say, but he would have liked to have been here. I think what we will do is that we will make through our homepage available the presentation from Sweden. So actually the plan is now that you can ask a few questions for the presenters, and afterwards we will have a small break, and then afterwards we will go directly to the debate. So maybe you can keep this period for actually clarifying questions, and then we will have a debate later on. So a few 5-10 minutes for precise questions. Yes, Rikke? Eller Christine, sorry.
Is that for the? All right. My question is, how would you specify the aims of Danish, like policy on SE?
How I would specify the aims of the Danish policies?
Yes, because you talked about what was happening and like thoughts about and definitions a little bit and release, but I would really like to know what is the specific aims of like you had very specific aims like increasing. I'm sorry, I don't remember the aims, but there were specific aims: increasing the number of SEs, increasing the impact in society. Like, what are the specific political aims at the moment in that area?
I guess it would be obvious to have specific aims and key performance indicators for an effort. We don't have it. As I said, it was called More and Stronger Social Enterprises. So in that very broad term, that's the aims of the effort. In the that's publication in Danish though only. describing the aims of the effort more in detail. It describes what is seen as the potential in social enterprises, etc., and what challenges the various initiatives are trying to address.
Where can I find that?
On our website, and you can have it, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you brought copies?
Yeah, just 5.
Okay.
5 or 6. Not enough.
I think if you ask Google for the title, you'll be fine.
Yes. Other questions? Otherwise, yeah. Martin?
A few of you expressed the need for a common language, and I see it like a need for an appealing language that not only social businesses, for exposed social, excluded people, but also for broader array of businesses, normal businesses also with us. They want to have a social purpose, they put some money into CSR, but want to maybe be more, have a stronger voice in this and be a social enterprise. Can some of you come with some, what are the main challenges in introducing a common language that is appealing, both to social enterprises, but also to businesses that want to have a strong voice within this?
Maybe Jan would comment.
Well, I guess it would be a 1 week debate, just 2 quick ideas, one opportunity and one challenge. I guess opportunity to have more common language would be actually to talk more about impact and what do we really need and mean by societal impact. But still this discussion is also much ahead among civil society organizations. For example, typical example is this impact when we just give food for poor children, or do we aim for something more? But I guess the challenge is, and why do we have so many different languages in social innovation sphere, is that we have very different philosophical approaches. For example, whether it's okay to divide profit, or we think it's completely unethical and we would like to get rid of capitalism as quickly as possible. And I guess one practical reason why we have so many different languages is to make some philosophies more understandable for some other stakeholders. So I would say that yes, we need more one language, but actually maybe we even more different languages as well, that people would better grasp the basic concepts according to their philosophy.
Specific, now we are talking about vocabulary and language. You talked about a shift from social innovation to social entrepreneurship. Could you explain how you see that? Or why you talk about a shift?
You had a slide saying we're moving from social innovations to social entrepreneurship.
I'm not sure.
I guess it was.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you can.
Yeah, well, that was just my idea that social innovation brings solutions, and social enterprises employ those solutions, build a business case out of them, put into the business models, so that because social innovation is just some sort of, it could be a trend, it could be, I don't know, changes of habits of people. And I thought that that's ideal for social enterprises, not just open another shoe repair shop, which is good, by employing also disadvantaged people. That's what I don't know, 80% of social enterprises would do. But try to look into social innovations for an inspiration and for the potential of growth, for the potential of new markets, customers. If people are into sharing economy, so let's see how you can make use of it by building online marketplaces to enable people share stuff, instead of own the stuff. So that's my idea of the concept. I'm not sure if that's clear enough, but that's how I see it.
I can actually also make a comment concerning the social innovation and concerning social entrepreneurship, because social innovation, it's really sometimes about changing the habits, and it doesn't always need to have an economical grounding behind it, but social entrepreneurship, in my mind, is always connected to some kind of economical activities. Yes, so this is like the major difference. Of course, like Mindaugas told, that from social innovation you can grow up entrepreneurship, but these are different, very close related, but still a bit different ideologies.
Thank you for very interesting presentations. It's really very inspiring to hear all of you. And also, I think we in Denmark can pick up a bit from you, definitely. We have this, our welfare society with a lot of bureaucracy too, as well. A lot of security and in many aspects, but it's also a challenge somehow to connect with all the activism that is taking place. And it seems to me that you are connected in very interesting and constructive ways. I have a question concerning how the different sectors they combine and are attached, because it occurred to me that especially the presentations of you two guys, or the three of you maybe, it seemed to me that the big companies really have gone into the field in an interesting way. And in Denmark, it's my perception that most of the companies, they go into the concept of CSR in the traditional way. At the same time, we have a movement from within or between us. We are some people who think in social entrepreneurship and economy and in companies. So there is kind of a merge maybe between these different kinds of approaches and mindsets. So I'd like you to comment how you see this, if anyone in your countries are talking about the differences or maybe the new field to me. Yeah.
I can say a few words, but maybe we'll add. I guess, talking about big businesses, all I see is only impact investment companies that are growing in numbers, and together with the growth of clean tech investment, environmental investment companies. But I guess it's still so small and insignificant, and there is also another example, and Reach for Change might tell about it, the Kinnevik company. That's a good example. They launched their own social investment fund and operate it, make it, independent in operations, but also that's like not really changing the setup or the structure of for-profit business in principle. So I don't really see that much of a change yet, or linkages. And as you mentioned yourself, CCR is still more about either whitewashing or employees' rights and marketing. But there are some social enterprises that are becoming a gorillas in a room, like Goodwill Industries, the largest social enterprise globally from the US, $4 billion turnover, opened a division in Finland together with Finnish municipalities. So things happening, but maybe not that drastically.
It's a very important question, especially in relation to what kind of objectives do we have for social enterprise development in our countries, because social enterprise grows out of still civil society grassroots movements, and we like things like small and cozy and cute and working in our the neighborhood and so on. But on the other hand, it's not inspiring at all, because it's still, yes, it's a grassroots level, but it touches so few people. So to really change the world, we should have those social enterprise billionaires who really have much money, much profit, and who can really help and impact thousands, millions of people. And of course, for grassroots level movements, it's very scary, and there are many risks. But for example, for me, while I try to see both perspectives, for me it's even scarier to think that wow, in next 20 years, social enterprise sector will grow twice. Now it helps like some hundreds of people, then it will help like 600. That would be even scarier. So I guess we should take those risks to really try to grow.
Yeah, I can add some points. In Finland, for example, I think some ministry people and others, they call for more like statistics or more research. What is the actual impact of those social enterprises? So, in my opinion, it's not enough to just create boundaries between companies, but create more detailed continuums from the more traditional to more impact-oriented companies, and in between create some standards which like normal companies do by law. They have some financial reporting requirements. So currently in the world, I think there are only some optional standards, some guidelines how to report the impact of companies, but we have to. It has to be those certain standards has to be adopted more widely, and maybe then we will have some social enterprise billionaires when we have right reporting practices. Yeah.
Sorry. Just one more thing. I see an unused resource for the social enterprises in the public sector social service provision, and the state has to gradually privatize all of the social service providers and make them into social enterprises, and that would be really a huge change of the whole system. I don't know how to do the privatization, who would be buying the stocks of elderly house or the childcare or whatever, but that would be, the biggest shift of the system. So not from the private sector, but from making the public sector turn into social businesses.
Like evolutionary path. So if we take maybe the private for-profit CSR, and at the end there is some social entrepreneurship. So it's not only about finding the common language, but they can be on the development stages. Yeah. So it's not about speaking a bad or good ways, but I mean these are some kind of evolutionary transformations, which maybe for-profit companies suddenly will become a social enterprises. So this is one of the views how you can see all of these stages. And a lot of the shades, like 50 shades of grey in between.
Thank you. I think what we'll do now is we'll take a small 10-minute break, and afterwards we will, I think, gather in smaller groups to have a discussion that will be more intense, and we will make sure that there's one of the foreign representatives in each group. And then afterwards we will make a short wrap-up around 10 minutes to 1, and at 1 o'clock we can go down to the cafe and have a sandwich, and the debate can continue as long as you like. Not as long as you like, but longer. Yes. So, small break, 10 minutes till 5 minutes past 12. I'm very sorry to, hello. I'm very sorry to interrupt, but I'm very sorry to interrupt, but if you could make sort of, I think, 4 groups and continue the debate, and if the people from social entrepreneurs in Denmark could spread out and be in different groups, and if the foreign participants could also spread out and be in different groups, it would be nice. So just gather around a table in each corner, and we will continue the dialogue until 10 minutes to 1. Yes? Can you find out yourself, or do I need to? Just questions for debate, that what are the biggest challenges to overcome in the region to create more social enterprises, and also if you have, like Renate said, both success and not successful stories to share. And then, is it possible to cooperate between countries in the social enterprise areas among countries in the Baltic Sea region? So the word is yours. Please.
Yes, to make it useful, not like just on a paper or for a project, but really that it operates successfully. So what would be these activities? And we are working for 1 year in this project, and I think that we still are struggling to understand what is really success factor. What do you need when you? I need competencies, like I thought. Competencies. Yes.
Competencies, and maybe some inputs from your side. Maybe you have some experiences or ideas how really, what are the main key indicators that international networks would become successful for specifically maybe for social enterprises, or maybe even better for social support stakeholders, that they really make some networks and long term, not just for a project, not for just specific event, but like on a regular basis.
Well, just a quick note in regards to network. I think since it's still this is the first time we meet, I think we shouldn't make it more difficult than it is. I think a Facebook group, a LinkedIn group with participants here is a good way to begin. Then we have each other's contact info, and we can share information, knowledge there, and see where it goes. It's, of course, it's not something that will last and be a good idea for long term, but for now I think it's very easy. We can actually do it right now, and then that's it. Yeah. So, then we have the network.
But it is actually a very good idea to later on, maybe after 1 year or 2 years, to start to make a kind of board or something from the Baltic countries and the Scandinavian countries, because it's very important. We are sharing, of course, but it's already started here.
Yes, it's for almost 1 year, and one of our like results or outputs will be creating of it's called Open Educational Resource, but it's actually a web page where you can we want to really make some not the tools but approaches that organizations between Baltic Sea Region start to cooperate. Yes, so we are not still quite sure how we will do it. So it's not just a regular web page or platform, but really some kind of mechanism should be established which will provide the long-term cooperation. And one of the ideas is that we want to maybe make some simple Google Doc, so companies can register themselves, and but afterwards you can search. Because even for looking for a project partners for this project, it was so difficult for me to find somebody from Scandinavia if you don't speak Scandinavian. Because all information I had was in Scandinavian. Yeah, so it was very difficult even 1 year ago. So I imagine that a lot of organizations may face the difficulties if they don't speak Scandinavian, for instance, to approach Scandinavian partners.
So English is a must. When you inform, of course when you cooperate, but also when you inform.
I think it's important to have projects, because when you work together on something, then you start having needs, right? If you create a network for having a network, I mean that's a beginning, but if you don't have a common goal, then it becomes really difficult to kind of move forward and see the need for each other. So I don't know, what is the common goal for all the Baltic social entrepreneurs? I don't know, but that I think that would be the target first, to find, you know, do we have something in common that we want to obtain, and then make a project out of that, because then you start working together.
Yeah, well, it was the idea when I started drafting the project that all of these organizations here, they are support organizations, advocacy organizations.
Former government, they had a development plan that you had to sort of support and enhance the rural areas, because people move away from the rural areas to go to the cities. So that was kind of a policy. I'm not sure whether it is with the new government, but it was used to be. Yeah. Okay.
So.
Finishing? Sorry, when is it finished? In November.
So maybe each of us can provide a brief viewpoint. What is the biggest challenge that we don't have enough of such kind of organizations we would like to have in our region?
Okay, I'll take the easy one. I would think that, and I guess one of the rationales between what we've been doing or some of the things we've been doing is that, you know, the lack of knowledge. Just if you have this knowledge that there is actually an alternative or something in between. There's a button here where you can actually be a social first company, that you can be, to say very simply, that you can be an NGO and you can earn money, or that you can be a business, you can have a social purpose, that you can actually choose these ways. If you're a young person, you don't have to choose between being socially responsible or starting up a business. So you can actually take these changes, go these ways. That's one part, but also that among relative partners, that if you're a municipality, there are actually potentials here that private businesses can also be socially responsible in these ways, etc., etc., etc. I really think that the knowledge perspective and the demonstrating that this is actually meaningful and possible is quite important.
I would say that the tradition in this country is that either you are like public oriented, you are sort of trained and skilled for the public sphere, or you are in the private businesses. And since a lot of the social enterprises, they started from the social sphere for people who wanted to do good. They weren't skilled in developing businesses, and I think this is still the challenge, that a lot of good ideas amongst the socially oriented do-gooders, but they don't know which idea we are going to implement. They don't invent new things. Perhaps they have some kind of difficulty in reading the needs in society. And I don't think we succeeded in linking those two views.
So you could say, associated to that it's a challenge that there's no support system to address these challenges, to really take on the potential social entrepreneurs and help them forward.
But I'm not sure it's only, I mean, it's a mindset you need to change. I have been doing some preposition work to apply for EU funding for social development, wanting to train newly educated social workers and nurses to be much more innovative and to create their own businesses. But when I'm talking to the schools for nurses and social workers, they would say, of course we have some subjects in that area, but mostly we want to train for public service, public health. And when I'm talking to the trade unions, which I also did, the nurses organization would say, we are in favor of a public health system. We do not want our members to sort of develop new ideas. And I'm saying this is not a challenge to a public system. This is only sought to create the professionals to invent and to be more effective, to sort of invent something new, new type of technology, new ways of solutions. So I think we have this, so it's, for me it's not only a question about the frame, perhaps it's also that, but it's a different mindset.
And I guess a very practical question is, so where do we think those people come from whom we should help and empower? Because in Estonia, although after the Soviet Union, civil society is quite young, but it's very, very active. And social enterprise concept in Estonia has also grown out of, let's say, civil society developments. But I'm still having also heated debates with my colleagues. Should we actually concentrate on civil society leaders to become social enterprise leaders?
Yeah.
Because of course we can say that we only need to empower them and educate them. But just last week we had this joke that maybe it's not about empowerment, but maybe we are just trying to teach the pigs to fly. But they don't belong to here. It's kind of they are happy otherwise, and maybe such kind of people who would be happy social enterprise leaders, they actually would come from other sectors, and that's one of the challenges we haven't solved yet strategically.
I think, that's my personal view, but I think that if we keep our eye on the social impact,
There's also a lot of municipalities who really want to work with this area because they have a lot of unemployed people, vulnerable people, and they can see already that they save an enormous lot of money if they invest in this area. So I think it's really coming up in Denmark. So.
And it seems as if the regions out of Copenhagen, the other areas of Denmark, they are attached in a different way than Copenhagen. Is that right? Or
yes, you can say, and I don't know if it's the same in your country, that this concept is being interpreted according to the needs there are locally. So if it's in a typical business area in mid-Jutland, it's a lot of the entrepreneurs is business owners who knows a lot about business but very little about the social area. And if we go to the big cities, perhaps they are social entrepreneurs who knows a little about business and need to be advised about that. And in the outskirts of Denmark, where a lot of people travel from, the young people go from, and the elderly people can't stay in the small villages, they establish shops and cafes and social enterprises who secure that the elderly people can stay and do their grocery and all that. So it's so fantastic to see that it's interpreted different, and there's so much diversity in the area,
which is a challenge as well.
It's a challenge, but it's also, I think it's good to see this kind of this concept too, that it's able to solve a lot of problems, perhaps much problems that the public sector have done before, and in a very traditional way and very rigid way of thinking. That here you can do it, and a lot of others can take responsibility for our common,
for the well-being of
challenges. And we heard in Sweden, for instance, that there was a social enterprise who got between 250 and 400,000 kroners from big societies because they needed employees. And then they had mentors from these companies who went into the 8th and 9th grade of schools and encouraged the children and some of the wild boys in the problem areas to see what could they do if they could be like them, and how is a way to be like that. So and the companies paid for it, and the schools paid 200 kroner per pupil for that, and it's a fantastic way of solving some challenges without the government or the municipality have to give a lot of money. So I think that's social innovation and social entrepreneurship.
So was this an initiative taken by Means of Reach for Change, or was that someone else?
No, not it wasn't. It was a private person. He owns, So it was, we visited an impact hub.
It seems to me that the old welfare societies like us in Denmark and Scandinavia, that there are new approaches also coming from abroad to our countries. For instance, Teach First Denmark, that is an initiative a bit like that, where they pick new candidates from universities and give them a 2-year education on top of their academic career, and so they become teachers that are to really go into the public schools and develop them from within with their co-teachers, and then have a specific eye on the pupils that are not that are left behind socially and in academic terms, and then support the level of inclusion and academic resources, and then also be a front person going in front and help these kids to prove that they can do something. So that's like empowerment, but on very different levels, and they are globally. So they just started in Denmark, and they're very big in Sweden. So I thought maybe
Teach First.
And they're very big.
I can't remember the name. It was something My Dream, something about.
Interesting.
I have the card.
Maybe they could come over. So you see that. I find it very, very important that we connect much better between countries, and I do also find actually that there can be a lot of synergy between North and South. I mean, Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Why not? And things that we are to like reinvent or up here we have become a bit blinded by our own tasks, and we have been a little spoiled, and we are a bit spoiled, and also a little, lazy maybe in seeing problems properly and caring about them and taking action in solving them, having a responsibility as citizens and and having this care about each other. So, and then I find that maybe eastern part of Europe still have awareness about it and are alert. We are need to be shaken up a bit. So therefore I see a need to really act and have more connection. So, and I really believe too in EU, but I would like it to be maybe even more wild in some respects, especially this activism and the innovative way of working.
But actually the EU programs are made by that they listen to us, what are the needs. So if we have any needs, that every year they ask also the government to say what should the priorities be for this program in the next coming years. So they are really listening as well. So if we need them to be more wild,
so maybe I need to know a little more about that, because
then the barrier is everybody who's involved are creating the barrier. The EU funding is creating the barrier. We are creating the barrier because we're not commenting on, as you say, we should be cooperating across country borders, and we're not. So
not much.
We will.
We need to. This little country.
But there's a long way to getting a wish of cooperating across the borders to making it economically viable. A lot of social companies, as the ones you were talking about, which begin out in the countryside because the village is closing down. The type of companies are not the type of companies which work across borders.
They're not scalable. Cafe. Yeah.
So it's very localized business in general.
There are very few. There's some the specialists with the autistic.
But you can make them force, grow if you don't want to. Like if you have this nice example of Beehive company that employs immigrants and whatever, unemployed people, homeless, and they told us, well, we harvest like 5 tons of honey and we have a range of products, so it could operate in maybe 5 other Danish cities as well, or go to Sweden, but you need to find a person who wants to organize that in their own country.
That's a bit true. But we have other companies like that starting up in Kolding and Aarhus and like that, like we be.
Now we have 17 municipalities who received a grant, and they are testing some kind of, supporting mechanisms. So what was the challenge that the ministry decided that municipalities need that person, and what is the aim of their work, what they do?
At first I must say each of the 17 municipalities are receiving like 500,000 kroners each, and that is 0.2 million euro actually. More or less. It's not much. It pays like 1 year's salary for one consultant, and this consultant has like 7 different strategies in the 7 municipalities. It's not alike in any of the municipalities. But the power of doing this is that it comes into focus. Suddenly there is 17 different municipalities where there is a socio-economical consultant, and that has not been seen before. In every of the 17 municipalities there's a focal point for a attending all attention regarding social economy in this municipality. And it's up to this local social consultant to create the local processes that make sense in the municipality and in the local society. I think you were talking about engaging the local community and the third sector and so on. Yes, I have some examples on how this local municipality consultant engages the union life and the third sector in municipalities. And that's exactly what was intended in the municipalities. And alongside that, we are also working with the business service system, which is all the municipalities. It's a standardized, almost formal program where business consultants provide like 3 or 4 hours of free guidance and counseling if you have any idea. It could also be a socially good idea, and they should be able to give you some qualitative answers when you come in with a socially good idea, and then they can help them shape the business plan in order to obtain this new understanding of what is a social business, how can we make this business plan, and then send them over to Ulrich and his program. He has a startup program and a growth program, and then we can just skip them along the way in that system. So that's basically how it works. That's the vision.
But what the consultants can do is actually up to them, isn't it?
The social economic consultants, yes.
I mean, because one goal could be to increase or to work on less paperwork in the municipalities. Because you often hear that to change the system, change the plan, whatever, change the habits. It's such a hard work, and it takes years just to make one little change. And certainly we need a lot of changes in Denmark to acknowledge this form of business.
But the 17 municipalities, they have a network, and they are meeting and they are getting capacity building alongside each other. So hopefully it will turn out to something great and be the starting point of something really good.
One of the things I want to pick up also, there was a discussion that happened about the language of social entrepreneurship, how they use and what are they using about it. What are the, within the Baltic regions there is also very many different languages, and if supposedly they want to have a sort of a social entrepreneurship network among themselves of import and export of goods and services that they are doing it, how difficult it would be. I mean, the whole industry language is not clearly defined, and then you are having people who are just communicating each other with ideas from different languages. That could be a challenge.
I think you maybe just need a national language. I doubt that you really can have a common language in this subject across borders. I mean, maybe you can have certain issues that you can exchange ideas and so on, but our societies are so different.
Somebody was sharing me very interestingly.
Sorry?
Somebody shared me some very interesting article about this. When internet came in, social media came in, a lot of people started talking about internet, right? But it's basically the language is about 1 and 0 that created the whole stuff. So now when we are talking about social innovation and entrepreneurship, we are already talking about results, impact, like he talked about. So maybe later on, people will start realizing what impact is. Just before, now they are understanding what is bilingual.
But we only recently have started to put very large social programs to invented in almost every country.
Our lunch or our sandwich downstairs in the cafe just after 1 o'clock. So what we actually want to do now is just to have a very quick round to the 4 groups, and maybe one of you could try to summarize just a few points of what you touched in your dialogue.
We actually started a discussion about this. So, okay. We firstly started discussing about how the social entrepreneur industry is within Poland and Finland and Denmark around it. We came up some different challenges. Firstly, mostly about social and economic perspectives that are different from people who are of traditional mindsets, and then people who are with new mindset coming together, and how they need to find a common ground to interact with each other to really go about this. Second challenge, we talked about how the growth directives, that is job creation and health and others, can be also being given, provided within social enterprises, industry, companies, in a much more way that is basically the normal ordinary person can relate to, just like the tradition. So in that, the languages has to be talked about, the experience has to be shared, the government, the structures needs to be talked about. So this is what challenges we talked. Second question about cooperation between the Baltic regions. There is a lot of potential in it, and there is a lot of common grounds in it, and but the language issues, things needs to be done a lot on that. So this is what we discussed. Anybody else want to add?
That's fine.
Good. Thank you. Does any of you want to summarize what your group discussed?
Yeah, okay. We talked pretty much in and out of challenges and solutions by means of cooperation. We talked about how within a country there's difficulties, actually also being able to cooperate with someone from abroad. And we saw a help and need for EU in doing things right and better. And also how to integrate ideas across sectors within a country. And then we shared experience about which countries to really be inspired about. And there was visits done to UK, Italy and Sweden. And we talked about how exchange is valuable in societies that are a bit more like you. For instance, the welfare societies of Scandinavia, that we have the same mindset. We have states that are a little similar. However, it can also be very inspiring to meet very different ways of working between North and South, Asia, Africa, and Latin America. And then we talked about how challenges also appear doing social enterprise because of demands if you work within the work field sector and all the demands there that you have to have a workforce involvement. And then we also discussed how within a country that are different needs in the country, that the countrysides where people go to the urban areas, sometimes they actually in Denmark they become more active in specific ways compared to the Copenhagen area and Zealand. Yes, so there's an interesting thing in maybe being locally that they have more in common with not so much with the capital citizens as with the locals in other countries. I mean, so there's definitely a bonding option there. And then we talk about how also that old welfare societies, in a way, maybe need inspiration from younger welfare societies and the other way around, because we are maybe a little spoiled. That's very much my impression in some respects, also in our mindset. Maybe you can.
You were talking a bit about the scalability of social enterprises, that it was also important to identify models who could be scaled up in Europe or around the world. Yeah, that was also that the diversity between a little grocery in the outskirts of a country, securing that people could stay there, to the companies who can be scaled up to the whole world. That it's a huge diversity in social enterprises, and also good that there are this diversity.
You mentioned something interesting, which was that it is possible to actually influence EU about how to, which things that are to be supported. I think we have to be very much aware about that, so we should share knowledge about that.
Okay, thank you very much. Some of you want to summarize? Jan?
I will just express two ideas which provoked me from our discussion, and then the others can add. The first idea was that how to really attract more of the right kind of people to establish and lead social enterprises. And the right kind, not so much about that the heart is beating very fast for all the children of the world, but the right kind to be really manage and scale the enterprises properly enough. Of course, without losing the very reason for existence and the heart. So that was the first very interesting challenge to balance. And the other very interesting challenge was that, of course, if we want more people for the sector and more supporters, we need to inspire by our communication. But quite some of our group members expressed their opinion that it's almost impossible to be, when talking about socially, when to talk about social enterprise, to be conventionally inspiring and honest at the same time. Because people are inspired by hero stories, but in reality there are no heroes, and it's everybody's a hero, and so it's a very tough job leading a social enterprise, having to make choices, ethical choices where there are no correct answers. So how to really inspire while being honest. That was a very inspiring challenge for me from our discussion. But anybody else?
I think the flexibility in being a company that want to do like a more holistic, like both the legal entity, but also how you're like you made this point, like both the legal entity, like what can you actually do, like how can you get money and how can you earn money, and but also like I guess in the understanding of your clients and partners, and like we have this understanding of either you're a business or you are like something else, you're public sector, or so there's some flexibility missing.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone who wants to?
Okay, we can
supplement.
Basically, our theme was about the network, about this network. How can we build it and continue working together? And we agreed on that we needed a common purpose, a goal, firsthand. It shouldn't be too narrow, otherwise a lot of people would be excluded, a lot of the organizations here wouldn't participate. And then we talked about digital solutions, tech solutions for building the network. What else?
We talked about a lot of things.
Yeah.
We talked about exchanges, we talked about seeing each other face to face, we talked about that it has to be relevant.
Yeah.
Having a network without relevance is not very viable. We also talked about that this is an opportunity for funding, because there is probably EU money for this. If we're creating maybe you're already into this, I don't know. But there must be money to apply for at the EU level for a Baltic network. And then the levels of where we want to have the network, is it like a parent meeting kind of network, or is it like we're pushing an advocacy agenda network, like big time with maybe a smaller secretariat?
So, summarize that we would like you to continue what you started, and then there's different levels, the high level and also the lower level with maybe just Facebook groups and also Google Docs for as a database where you can look up other social enterprises working with the same as you do in the region. Yep. So, good luck.
Maybe on that note, like connect to Badawola, who couldn't be here today. Like he has like 5,000 friends on Facebook, and from like all over the world. I traveled to California, as I said, and that was the name that I heard the most times. Badawola restaurant.
From Sweden.
Yeah, and with this SoCap, I guess he does a lot of like great stuff. So there's a good resource there.
Thanks.
You should go to nordicscocap.org. You will read more there about that we take based on.
Yeah, we will also bring in the newsletter. Yes. Thank you very much. I think we will wrap up now, and I hope you will join us and each other for a sandwich in the cafe below, and I should say you can take a bottle of water in the corner here if you are more thirsty. And then I want to thank again the National Center for Social Enterprises in Denmark for co-hosting this event, and I hope that we will be able to have the video on a link on the webpage quickly, and of course we will email you if you are on the list the link, so you are able also to share with others who might be interested. And then just a last point, if you do not receive news from us, you can sign up for our monthly newsletter on social enterprises, social entrepreneurship and other issues interested for social entrepreneurs. You can just find me and tap me on the shoulder, and I will make sure that you are signed up.
And we have a newsletter as well.
And of course, you have the National Center's newsletter, and please contact Charlotte for signing up there.
Or on our website.
Or at the website. Yes. Thank you very much. And should we give a hand?